Hey everybody, it's week 3 of the NFL season. I'm Jason.
And Brian.
Alright, after 2 weeks, right now, last week I was 8-6-2, which is a mild upset after week 1. For the year, I'm 13-16-3. My goal right now, get to 500. I'm not a professional, so suck it.
And I was 7-7-2 last week, and we're tied.
We're tied.
Both 13-16-3 against the spread.
So we're getting better. So if anybody made any money last week, I did hit both my upset and lock. I picked Tampa to as my upset, and they came through and won outright. And the easy one for me, living in St. Louis, was picking the Giants. Obviously, the Rams look better, but the Giants covered. So
yeah, my lock was Green Bay. They won, but they didn't cover, and my upset of Chicago completely fell apart. So I missed both of mine.
That's all right. That's why there's another week.
Exactly.
Let's go ahead and get started. First game up is San Francisco at Cincinnati. This is actually my upset pick of the week. Cincinnati is favored by 2.5 points. I got San Francisco. Last meeting, I think Gore ran for almost 140 yards against Cincinnati. I expect more of the same, especially since they're not going to use their tight end to go out and catch a ball. Maybe he'll block and they'll just keep the ball on the ground, and Gore hopefully gets them to the win. Yeah,
hopefully they're going to start using Vernon Davis a little more. I also am taking San Francisco to cover here. I don't know what it is with Cincinnati and their players. Jerome Simpson, Cedric Benson, both in some legal issues right now. So I'm definitely taking San Francisco here.
Next up, we got New England at Buffalo. This is a 7.5 point spread for New England. I've actually got Buffalo covering. People have been able to move the ball on New England through the air. I think Buffalo actually has a fairly decent passing attack with Fitzpatrick. I think Buffalo can actually hang with them at home, so I got Buffalo to cover.
Yeah, I'm taking New England. You're right. New England's had some close games, even though they've won by 14 points or so, but they've been real close. But I'm still going to take New England to win this on the road. I think they've won 15 in a row against Buffalo, and I look for it to be 16 here.
This is the year. Buffalo doesn't win this game, but they're respected, or make it respectable. So next up, we got Houston at New Orleans. I've got New Orleans at home favored by 4 points. I think New Orleans at home is going to be pretty tough to beat, and I think they're going to put up a lot of points with Sproles coming in, who just looks faster. I don't know how he does it, but Drew Brees, Sproles, they don't have Colston. He banged his knee or whatever.
His shoulder.
He's not there, so he's not playing, but they still got tons of weapons, so New Orleans easy.
Yeah, New Orleans is a very tough place to play. I went to a game there last year. But I like what Houston's doing both on offense and defense. It doesn't look like Foster's going to play, but Ben Tate's a good backup. I'm taking Houston to cover 4. I think New Orleans will win, but I think Houston can cover.
Next up, we got the Giants at Philadelphia. Vic is supposed to play. Giants didn't look very good in their win against the Rams. I know they beat them 28-16, but
they had a loss.
Yeah, Philadelphia with the loss after Vic gets hurt. I think they would have won that game if Vic doesn't get hurt. Philadelphia wins this one. I think they put a pounding on the Giants.
Yeah, I like Philadelphia to cover here. The Giants, their wide receivers are so banged up, and their secondary's banged up too. And if they can grind it out with Bradshaw and Jacobs, they've got a chance. But I just like Philadelphia to cover.
Next up, we got Miami at Cleveland. Cleveland's a 2.5 point favorite. I'm going to stick with Cleveland at home. Peyton Hillis, give him the ball. I know he didn't practice today, from what I understand. Today is Friday, and he was just sick. They keep the ball on the ground, give it to him. Miami hasn't showed much of anything. And they started both their games at home.
Yeah, both teams were at home.
And they haven't showed much of anything. Brandon Marshall's a good weapon, and Henne can get the ball to him, but I just don't see it on the road. So Cleveland.
I'm taking Miami. This is my upset pick here. Miami's had 2 games at home, but they've been against New England and Houston, both very good teams. Henne had over 400 yards that first game against New England. I like Miami to cover here, and I think they're going to win this game.
Next up, we got Denver at Tennessee. Tennessee with the surprise last week beating Baltimore. A 6.5 point favorite for Tennessee. I'm going to stick with Tennessee at home. Denver's on the road. Tennessee, I think they're going to get better. Hasselbeck's a decent quarterback. He actually threw for 300-something yards, and Chris Johnson still hasn't done anything. If he comes, if they get Chris Johnson going, look out. But right now, Tennessee at home.
This could be the week that Chris Johnson finally steps up. Denver is a little banged up on defense. They're not great against the run, but something in my gut tells me Denver's going to cover 6.5 here. I don't know why, but I'm going to take Denver to cover.
Next up, we got Detroit at Minnesota. Minnesota looked a lot better than they did the first game last week against Tampa. Detroit, they're impressing me more and more. They kind of, for living in St. Louis, have a 99 Rams feel to me.
Yeah.
And also, Stafford and Johnson are just awesome. Every time we sat down there and got to watch that game, it seems like they have the ball on the 5-yard line every time. And every person in the freaking world knows what's going to happen. It's literally 3 steps back. Hey, Johnson, here you go. I'm gonna throw it as high as I get. You just jump up and out, beat your defender. And even when they don't do it the first time, they come right back to it. So I've got Detroit. I really think this is I don't know. I'm not saying Super Bowl, but I really think this is their year to put up just tons of points. And they got, what kills me is they got Linehan as their freaking offensive coordinator, as a former Rams coach. Hey, and speaking of that, since this is our show. Linehan was 3 wins better than Spagnuolo at the same point in his career as the Rams. This is just a stat I heard this week, but at the same point in his career as Spagnuolo.
But he also had more talent when he took over than Spagnuolo had when Linehan took over. So I got Detroit. Spagnuolo, so
I got Detroit if I didn't get to that on that.
Yeah, I'm taking Detroit to cover here also. Although I think this is possibly a game where Detroit might be a little hyped up by all the press clippings, and Minnesota is not playing well, but they're not that bad. They're especially good on defense, but I'm going to take Detroit to cover. They're on a roll.
Next up, we got Jacksonville at Carolina. 2 rookie quarterbacks starting this one. Gabbert's getting his first start for Jacksonville. McCown is a backup quarterback. He shouldn't have been starting. He really got exposed last week, but you got Cam Newton still, who's thrown for 700 million yards already. I've got Carolina in this one at 3.5 points. I think Gabbert, he might actually have a decent game. I think when he came in, he was 5 for 6 or whatever, but he's got the whole game. And I just still think Newton, and it seems the way they're moving the ball right now, I think they should win this one. So 3.5 point favorite. I've got Carolina.
Yeah, I'm taking Carolina to cover. I think Mercedes Lewis, tight end, one of their better receivers, might be a little banged up. I look for Cam Newton to have another big game. Surprising coming from me. I was a little low on him at the beginning of the year, but he's really impressed me. It's a complete wrong take on him from the start, but I look for Carolina to cover.
Next up, we got Kansas City at San Diego. Kansas City is horrible. San Diego has got a great offense, and last year, if you remember, even though they started off real crappy, they had like the #1 ranked defense, but they were like, had their 4 losses or whatever at the beginning of the season. Kansas City is not going to be able to move the ball. Jamal Charles not out. Castle still, he'll still Brady's back.
He hasn't looked good all year, even in preseason. But
even without Antonio Gates, maybe some injury issues with Antonio Gates. Last week, I don't even think he touched the ball. I know his fantasy points were nothing, but
yeah.
What's his face went wild. Here I go.
Vincent Jackson.
Yeah, guy on my fantasy team.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anymore. Until Kansas City can prove that they can either stop the ball or move the ball, which they've done neither of this year, I'm taking San Diego to cover 14.5.
Next up, we got the Jets at Oakland. I've actually got Oakland in this one, a 3.5 point favorite for the Jets.
What a shock.
Yeah. Sanchez goes on the road. Last week they win 39 to whatever.
32-3.
Sanchez throws for 180 yards. Big whoop. His defense put him on the freaking 1 yard line one time. Sanchez does nothing to beat you. I think going on the road, Oakland might be able to actually hang in this game. I don't know if they win, but the Jets might kick a field goal late to win this one. I've got Oakland covering, but maybe the Jets winning by about 3. But at 3.5 points, I'm going to take Oakland.
Yeah, 3.5. I'm taking the Jets to cover. I think it'll be a good game. Oakland is not a bad team. They've played well in their games. I look for the Jets to cover here. They've got such a dominant defense, and really it's just more to piss Jason off because he seems to have something with Mark Sanchez.
I hate him. Next up, we got Baltimore, 4-point favorite at St. Louis. Once again, I'm picking as my lock against St. Louis Rams. Even though I live here, I would love to see them succeed. They are not. Baltimore's coming off a loss. I think they're going to be so pissed off. Another thing, as we were talking a little bit earlier, there's a stupid thing in St. Louis that they put up before the game, their first home game. These Ram rules. It's basically an idiot's guide to how you're supposed to root for your team. It was horrible. If I don't get it in this video, I'm going to put a link down on the bottom. Go check it out. But there's 5 rules. They are the stupidest things I've ever seen. Ray Lewis is going to see that, and I feel sorry for Sam Bradford because he's going to be such a good quarterback. But if he lives past this week, it'll be amazing. I've got Baltimore to cover and my lock.
I'm taking Baltimore to cover here also. I'm season ticket holder to the Rams. I'm really hoping the Rams can show up, and I think they can make it a good game. But until they can prove it, the turnovers are killing, the stupid penalties. Baltimore did not play well at all. If they had lost a game last week, it's one thing, but to come out and play like they did last week, I think they're going to come out and try and prove a point here. Yeah. So I'm taking Baltimore.
Yeah, and once again, possibly no Jackson. Their backup Cadillac is hurt. Maybe their best wide receiver that didn't dress in the first game will get to play again in this game, Denario Alexander. Chance to spread the field with him.
And Baltimore's secondary has not looked good.
Yeah, but still Baltimore. They're pissed. They're going to come in here and just unfortunately handle us good. Next up, we got Atlanta at Tampa. Tampa's actually a 1.5-point favorite in this game. I've got Atlanta. I think Atlanta can win. They played the last couple series to about a 3-point game, but I think Atlanta can actually go down to Tampa and win this game probably by field goal.
Yeah, definitely taking Atlanta. I did hear something about Matt Ryan maybe being banged up a little from last week. But Tampa's a good team, but I think Atlanta pulls this one out.
Next up, we got Arizona as a 3.5-point favorite at Seattle. Seattle hasn't really shown much this year. I think going up into Seattle, that Arizona might actually have a tough time with the 12th man. I mean, that's literally the only thing I'm basing this on. I see Arizona winning this game, but barely. I actually have Seattle to cover. So
yeah, I'm taking Seattle to cover, and I think it's for the same exact reason as you are. Seattle is a different team when they're at home. Yeah. For whatever reason, when they're at home, they play well. They may not win the game, but I think they can cover 3.5 points. So I'm taking Seattle.
Next up, we got Green Bay, a 3.5-point favorite at Chicago. Chicago kind of had it handed to them a little bit in New Orleans. To be honest with you, I really think Green Bay and New Orleans are very, very similar. I just don't think Chicago's going to be able to handle it. And look for frickin' Cutler to get his butt handed to him again. I think Clay Matthews comes with his fury and just nails him probably for about 6 sacks.
Yeah,
not alone, but as a team.
Right. No, I'm definitely taking Green Bay to cover here. This is a rivalry game. It's a great going, historical rivalry. It's usually a close game, but I think Green Bay is, until they can be proven different, I just think they cover this game.
Next up, we got Pittsburgh, a 10.5-point favorite at Indy. Indy, unless Peyton Manning's behind center, even though 10.5 points is a big, big number. Pittsburgh covered a big number last week. I don't think Indy's any better than Seattle. Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Covered.
I'm 0-2 taking Indy every week here. But, they've got good players, but it's just not the same team. They just don't look the same. I look for Pittsburgh to run the ball on a consistent basis here. I just don't see Indy doing anything, and I'm taking Pittsburgh to cover.
NBC finally doesn't get that exciting game. I mean, I think
it would have been a great matchup if Manning
was there. If Peyton's there, you got it. Next up, we got the Monday night game, Washington at Dallas. Dallas is a 5.5-point favorite right now. I'm actually going to go with Washington at Dallas. I think Washington can keep this game close. They've been moving the ball fairly decent. I don't know if they win. Dallas might squeak one out at the end, but I actually have Washington covering.
Yeah, I'm taking Washington also. Dallas has played well. They probably should have won that game at the Jets. They should be 2-0. They're not. Miles Austin's hurt. Tony Romo looks like he's going to play, but he's a little banged up. Des Bryant probably going to play. We're not 100% sure yet. But, Washington defense has not looked bad. And, Rex Grossman, who would have thought this would have been the second coming here, But the way they're playing, I see them covering 5.5 points. And I see them possibly pulling out the victory. But
yeah. With Romo possibly being hurt with the broken ribs and the punctured lung, which I think is bullshit. I really think they threw that out just to make him look tougher. He probably had a couple little bruises on his knee or something. But
you just hate quarterbacks, don't you?
I hate ones that aren't as good as they think they are. Anyway, that should do it. Week 3, hopefully we're going to do even better for you. My whole goal right now is to get to 500. We'll find out next week. So till then.
Take care. We'll see you then.
See ya.
He goes down to get it, in trouble, sack.
Every time we get to the quarterback, I want to hear you yell, sack!
Pocket collapsing, he's sacked again.
Sack!
Ram Rule 5.
Josh Brown to kick it off.
Leading up to every kickoff, let's slow clap it out.